Oh, the holiday season is upon us here at the About to Break podcast. And perhaps as the snow falls and you place another log on the fire, you sit in your favorite winter chair looking at your Christmas list and wondering, what could I do for my friends and family to help inspire wonder, much like the season is bringing? Well, look no further, because Taylor Hughes, that's right, Taylor, the host of this program, is recording his first ever live comedy, magic, and storytelling special, Tuesday, January 7th at Dynasty Typewriter in Los Angeles. But how could you possibly get this gift for your family and friends? Well, tickets are available now. Go to taylorhughes.com/live and click on the link to the show and buy those tickets. Please buy the tickets. I need this to go really well.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Something is about to break.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the About to Break podcast. This is the show where we talk to artists, entertainers, entrepreneurs about just doing what they love and trying to pay the bills, finding wonder in the world around you, and just doing something that you're passionate about. And which is why I'm so excited about today's guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting here with my good buddy of like, how long have we known each other? 20?
20-ish, 20 plus.
20 plus years.
Yeah.
I was laughing with my kids because like Larry moved into the neighborhood kind of, and we'll get to that. But they're like, how do you know Larry? It seems like you know him really well. And I'm like, he's one of those dudes I could not see for like 5 years, and then it's literally like no time has passed.
Yeah.
So we're excited. Guys, this is Larry Wyatt. Larry and I grew up together, hanging out, playing music. We grew up in church youth group together. And now Larry has just opened a shop that epitomizes chasing wonder. Tell him just real quickly what you opened here in downtown Upland.
So we are here in the 2nd Avenue Mall in downtown Upland, and it is an 80s themed comic shop and arcade. All of the comic titles we carry, all of the vintage action figures we have, new collectibles, and all of our arcade cabinets is everything to just capture the 80s all in one building. 80s music is on, 80s movies are on, and it's just a time portal. It's a time vortex. You should step into the shop and not know what decade you're in.
Oh, it's totally amazing. Yeah, you described it to me once as like an overload, like a sensory overload. But it really is. It's kind of like walking back in time.
Right.
I mean, for folks like us who grew up with the 80s,
right,
it totally takes you back to this moment of like, oh my goodness, like, this is my childhood encapsulated with 4 walls.
Yeah, it's what the idea kind of came from Disneyland. When you walk into a certain part of Disneyland, for example, the new Galaxy's Edge, but this goes as far back as any portion of Disneyland, they set it up so that you can't see the outside world. The trees and the mountaintops that they put in artificially is so that you don't see the outside world. It doesn't ruin the illusion of where you are. So when you walk in to our shop, if Madonna's on the radio, right, and Mr. Belvedere's on the TV, and you're buying a Ghostbusters toy before you play Asteroids, I don't want you to know that it's 2019, 2020 out in the mall. I want you to feel like you rode your bike to the arcade in 1986 and you're having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
So that I kind of stole that. When you step in, the outside world doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it's such a, we'll get to why you created this place, but it's such a perfect time to have it. I mean, first of all, you've got, teenagers growing up with Stranger Things who are like getting exposed for the first time to the 80s. And then you've got parents like me who are just so excited to bring my kids in and introduce them to like stuff that was such a huge part of our culture and things that define my childhood. And it's rad to have like, you've got young people playing video games, but then you also got parents like introducing their kids to this stuff at the same time.
It is that. It is, we wanted to reach 2 types of people, and we totally have. So everybody that comes in is our age, mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
Now with expendable income to recapture their childhood property again, their old toys and video games. So every conversation is the same. I had that. I used to have this. My mom sold this at a yard sale. They want to rebuy it. And then the kids same thing. I saw this on Netflix. I saw the reboot of this, the reboot of that, or they showed this in Stranger Things, or another 80s type of movie. So yeah, they are fascinated by what we had in that time. It's not, the 80s to me are the new 50s, where you can capture it with, you just need a handful of things to capture the 80s. So if I opened a 50s diner, I could put Elvis and Marilyn Monroe on the wall. It's a 50s diner.
Right. Yeah. Jukebox, and you got,
a record, records on the
red vinyl seats.
Yeah, exactly. A Coke machine, and Coke. Yeah. So what 80s did for pop culture and for icons, like iconic movies and music, didn't really exist in the 60s, 70s, late 90s, 2000s. Nothing was that. It was the right time of art and creativity, and the introduction of technology in movies and video games that now you take it for granted. Now they overthink it. Right. They reshoot movies to no end, to where it's a horrible movie. Yep. That nothing like the original director's vision. But back then it was just the right time of creativity and technology, and everybody could create what they wanted. And that's how you ended up with Atari and Ninja Turtles, and crazy albums by crazy artists.
Yeah, dude. Did you notice the poster behind me? Did you see it? I'm probably blocking it.
That's good. I'm looking at an Enchantment Under the Sea dance poster.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
my buddy,
I need one.
My buddy, he kind of redid the graphics so that you could blow it up big, and And
the shop is based on the spirit of Back to the Future. It's about time travel coming. So the shop is called Out of Time, the license plate from the DeLorean. And if anyone from Universal Studios is listening, I'm sorry. Please don't be mad. When you walk in, we have a fake clock tower on the wall. But when I grew up, there was an arcade at the mall called Time Out.
Yeah, dude.
At the West Covina Mall.
With the big neon portal.
The circle light up thing you walk in. I remember that was the first arcade I played Dragon's Lair at.
Yeah.
But anyway, Time Out, flip it, invert it, we're out of time. Back to the Future takes you back in time.
Yeah.
So that's our whole concept.
That's amazing, man.
So that's great that you have that poster.
Yeah, and then I totally forgot I had it till I'm like, oh, we're talking about this. Look, there it is right there.
I love it.
Now, for you, like, so for people listening to this, they go like, well, that must be great that this guy has the ability or the time or the energy or whatever to do it. This is not, like, you have a day job. You have like a grown-up job. I
was talking to my boss right before we walked in here, and I was doing interviews all morning for positions we're hiring for.
Yeah.
I do have a day job. It was a 90-day temp job that I took 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just gave it my all. Yeah. This was after 12 years of punk bands, and I needed a real job because
you're like, okay, I'm getting a little sick of
30 years old. I need to get married. I need to not sleep on people's couches.
Yeah.
So I got this job, gave it all I had, and I got promoted 6-7 times, and I went from a minimum wage job to a 6-figure job just by giving it my all. And that's doing a job that you don't care for, but giving it 100%.
Yeah.
It takes you places and opens up opportunities. It helps you afford the things you want to do.
Right.
So, all this, I didn't want a partner in this shop. I didn't want a bank loan for the shop. I just took my own cash and put it into this shop to get it going. Yeah.
Well, and that's so cool, man. I mean, so often I'm talking to artists who are like, there's one of two things. Either the person who like has the passion thing that they want to do, but they're just so grounded in reality of like, I got to just invest in this 401k or whatever.
Right. Which I should probably be doing well.
I'm not doing that. I mean, like, but I mean, it's
we're going to be roommates at 60.
I know, right? We'll be living in this shed.
We'll be in this shed.
But the thing is like, you tend to have people who are either like so grounded in reality that they're just like do the grind and they're like, someday when I retire from this, I'll do the thing I'm passionate about.
Right.
Or you've got like a lot of people that are like my buddies who are like, they're just barely surviving doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people think it's either or. So like you're in this unique spot of like you're doing the day job and you're giving it your all, but then you're taking that money almost like Robin Hood style.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk about that a little bit because it's such a different way to to look at life than most people do.
Yeah, it's I've done both. When I was doing the rock band thing, I gave it 100%.
Yeah.
There's no time for a day job. If I'm at work, then I'm not writing songs. Right? And I paid the price for that all through my 20s. I was always looking for a place to crash and looking for food.
Yeah.
And you know, accounts and collections, but I was giving it 100%. And I was talking to a guy, a good friend of mine, and he's got his master's degree and he's a pharmaceutical rep. And he's like, bro, you got to get rid of the eyeliner and the guitars and you got to, you know, I was like, look, dude, at any point I could put this down and do what you do.
Yeah.
You cannot do what I do.
Yeah.
Like you're a dude in a suit going to pharmaceutical conventions.
You're trapped.
And when are you going to learn to play guitar and go play a show at the Chain Reaction? Right. But I can quit this tomorrow and take some classes and catch up with you real fast. So I'm going to do this while I can. And you can have that attitude in your 20s, but like I said, I was then in my 30s. I was like, how about we try a little bit of both? Yeah. So I'm going to work this job and I'm going to be serious.
Yeah, Hannah Montana
yes.
style. The best of both worlds.
It's funny. I'll be in a suit in a headquarters of one of our customers, and I'll forget to switch wallets. And I'll pull out a Ninja Turtles wallet to give them my business card, right? I'm like, oh, it's the Velcro wallet. Yeah, and sometimes my secret identity, you know, it all gets crisscrossed sometimes. It happens. So, but yeah, I forgot your question, but
no, just that idea of like, it's okay to do both things. Like you don't have to like, you don't have to just like pursue your passion. And like you said, like if you were doing this and you didn't have the day job, you'd be like either having a partner or loans or all sorts of stuff to try to fund your passion. And I just think it's so cool, man, that you've figured out a way to do both.
Yeah. I think I told you this the other day that someone once told me that the money in the world is not a pie where everyone else already got their slice and there's nothing left for you. It's more of a flowing river, and you just got to figure out a way to stick your hand in there and get as much as you can. So for me, it was once I got this entry-level job in this company and I realized the salaries they were throwing around, and I just had to play the part. My first conference boardroom meeting, I was just picturing all the movies I've seen. I'm like, what do they do in these movies, right? You all sit around a table and you all talk into the speakerphone.
You got to have some papers.
Right. Yeah. You look like you're doing something, right? So I was just like, what do I do? What do I do? I was thinking of movies and TV shows, and it worked. Yeah. Because before that, and I tell this to my employees now, that some of these guys have been here longer than me. Yeah. I say, man, I'm in charge of all these territories. I'm helping out 6-7 states in the country. And I used to work at Starbucks. I came from Starbucks to here, and I just applied myself. And I'm going to throw out so many lessons and
do it
stuff. But you remember Jim Hayford? Yeah, Jim Hayford once said, "This is Pastor Jim Hayford. Now he's basketball coach Jim Hayford.
Coaches college basketball.
But he said, whatever you're doing, give it 100%. Yeah. If you're at work, give it 100%. If you're with your family, give them 100%. And so I take that, put it with my ADHD. Right. And so when I'm at the shop, it's an epic, I cut no corners. I want the shop to be amazing. When I'm renovating the house, I'm all in, tool belt, get this room built. When I'm with my wife, it's family time. And when I'm at work, I give them 100%. No room for excuses. And so I can tell my technicians, if I can do it, you can do it. Right. And so the company's impressed with your drive, and then they give you this money. So when you have your own time, nights and weekends, and you go into the shop, you don't have to cut any corners, and you can give everyone a great experience. And it all goes together. Yeah. So you do have to have the energy, the ADD. You gotta be able to balance it all. And it's not forever. You probably couldn't pull this off when I was in my 20s, and I can't do this in my 50s. I'm exhausted. I'm getting tired. But there is this short window when you can do this. You can do everything. Yeah. It's just a matter of having multiple phones, multiple notebooks, write everything down. And my wife takes notes. If I think of something while I'm driving, she texts it to me, or it'll be lost forever. Right. Yeah. So you just got to multitask and split your brain into these compartments for a little while. Yeah. And you can do it all.
That's so good, man. I love that you talk about no excuses, because I mean, I've in the last couple of years, I've gotten really big on like, if you want to do something, like do it. Nobody's going to, I mean, I'm filming this special. Nobody is bankrolling this special. I'm spending my money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody
Right.
called up. Netflix didn't call up and be like, hey, we got a great deal for you, kid. We've seen what you're doing and we like it. You know? But if you believe in something and you're passionate about it and you want to see it happen, like don't wait for permission for someone else to give it to you, you know? And people who are listening right now will be tempted, like I would be if I was listening to you talk right now, would be tempted to go, well, this guy's just had it easy, or he had like some, rich relative that like bankrolled him, or like, so, I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but like, can we go back a little bit and talk about kind of growing up for you and like how
Sure.
like the origin story. We both love comics and like, you know.
Yeah.
But let's get to the Larry Wyatt origin story.
So every time they reboot my movie, they have to start here and tell it again.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Basically, in a nutshell, like long life short. I went into foster care when I was 13, and the goal is to reunite you with your parents if they get their act together, and that never happened. So then your plan B is to be adopted. That never happened. So plan C is you stay there till you're 18.
Yeah.
And nowadays there are some programs for once you're 18, but not back then. So on your 18th birthday, you got to go.
Yeah.
You just got to hit the bricks. And so I did. And playing in punk bands all those years was part passion and part necessity. If I was in a band, I had a place to live and I had food, right? And there was usually the band
You're
van.
like sleeping on couches. This lifestyle fits me perfectly.
I'm totally a punk rocker. And so I had to learn to play guitar real quick.
Yeah.
So I had a place to live, right?
Yeah.
But no, it worked out for me. And sometimes it didn't. So when I was about 25, I left a band, was not going to work out, and we had the band house. So if you leave the band, you leave the house, and that makes sense. Luckily, at that point, I had a car. Yeah. Most years, I didn't have a car. I was riding the bus or walking, but it just worked out that I had this car. So now I need to go live in my car.
Yeah.
And I slept in that car for the summer of 2005 in the parking lot outside of what is now my arcade. And
Amazing.
So, and that was, I bottomed out right there. I had my clothes in a duffel bag in the trunk and I slept in the car, and I got myself a job and, just worked really, again, another entry level job where I worked up to management and, rented, got a couple paychecks and got a studio apartment.
Yeah.
And then rented a room in an apartment, and then, rented my own condo, and then, just worked my way up to buying a house.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, totally sleeping in that car, no food, no showers.
Was there a time when that was happening that you were just like, well, I guess this is life now, or were you always like,
no,
there's something more? I'm like pushing forward. I'm going to do the thing.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about business and dreams all day, but there is a faith aspect to this where I think there was definitely some Holy Spirit in that car, because when I would get in the back seat and get in my sleeping bag and kind of look out the window and it's just the moon and the trees, but I'm in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, dude, I'm homeless. Like, this sucks. Like, I was on stage last week and now I'm homeless, and they're replacing me as the singer, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what have I done with my life? But no, if something came over me where I just treated it like camping. And I was like, look at the moon, look at the stars.
Wow.
And in the morning, the birds are going to wake me up because they're dropping seeds on the damn roof of this metal Buick, right? And so somehow it sucked. It sucked. But I wasn't.
But you found a way to like be present in that moment and to go like, okay,
yeah, this is just
where
for
I'm at.
Luckily, it's summer. It's not freezing. Like, I kept finding the positives.
Luckily, I'm in California, not in Idaho,
which I think is why all the homeless people come here.
Everyone's like, Santa Monica is like so many. It's so bad. There's so. I'm like, are you kidding me? If I was homeless, I'd be living in Santa Monica.
It's free beach property.
Yeah, are you kidding me? You know how much you guys are paying for this view?
Yeah. No, I was grateful for the car.
Yeah.
I was grateful for the weather. And I knew there's nowhere to go but up. I mean, unless the car gets stolen, I guess that could get worse.
There is something, and I do not want to try to equate my scenario to yours or anything, but like when I quit my job and had like, we lost all our relationships, like everything was tied up in this this job I had. And when we lost our house because of that, and I had already given up magic for a year. Like I hadn't performed in a year, and I was literally like watching the money in our bank account go away, and I'm doing the math. I'm like, I think we have 2.5 weeks before we have no money left. And I've got a wife and 2 kids. And I went, well, maybe I'll start pursuing my dreams. Like I literally
Can't
what's
hurt.
the worst thing that could happen?
Exactly.
I'm 2.5 weeks away from losing, our apartment. Like,
Right.
what's the worst that could happen? I think there is something about like a weird piece that comes from knowing like, hey, there is only up to go from here,
Yeah. And look, we're in America. I mean, if you have an apartment with a television, you're in the top percent of the world, right? So it's like, dude, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'll figure this out.
Yeah.
But no, so to summarize all that, no, I lost my family. I was alone and I lived in a car. And that statistically is life after foster care. Imagine getting out of foster care and not being in a band.
Gee whiz,
you're instantly
the band is
homeless.
like a family.
That just got me. That got me by. But who else is in a band after foster care? Yeah. So another story we can cover another time is our foundation to help foster kids when they're aging out of foster care.
Talk about that a little bit. We can talk about that.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Well, one of my first dreams, ideas, again, I've never liked my day job. I've always been thinking of something else I can do.
Yeah.
Because it's just a stressful job. So I went to a school of ministry. Yeah. I was like, I just want to be a worship leader or youth pastor or something, right? And it's a 2-year course. And I'm in the first 2 weeks of the first trimester, and God just said, you're going to help foster kids. I was like, hey, that's not what I signed up
wait
for.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Wrong guy.
Yeah.
I signed up for
paying money to get a degree.
Exactly. That's not on the list here.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't want to talk about foster care ever again. In fact, I was... we might have been engaged by that point. I'm not sure, me and my wife. But she always had questions about foster care and my family, and I didn't want to talk about it. It's in the past.
Yeah, you're just like moving on.
I have worked my way up to this company now, and we're getting married. We're buying a house. I'm getting this little side certificate here.
Was some of that avoiding that, like trying to avoid the stigmatism or like feeling like people would judge you if they knew?
No, it was just a long, hard journey, and it was over. So let's just put it behind us.
Yeah.
Now I've caught up to the rest of everyone I know. Everyone I know has a job, has a house, has a wife. I'm like, hey, I'm normal. I don't want to go back there. They're not good stories. You don't want to hear about this.
Yeah.
And so for what I believe to be God speaking to me, that now you're going to go talk about this for years and years and years. I was like, that's ridiculous. I'm not doing that. Right.
Yeah.
So then we were in church one Sunday morning, and pastor said, you got to use adversity to help other people. If you survived cancer, you should be ministering to those in the hospital that are going through chemo. If you were in foster care and went house to house to house, you need to go back and minister to those in foster care. And I was like, oh, dude, how specific?
Like he's using that example when
in a 10,000 person church
when you just were feeling like
that morning. That morning we were getting ready for church, and I was like, I'm not doing this.
That's hilarious.
And 2 hours later, we're sitting in church, and he's like specific. I was like, how many people in here is he really talking? So anyway. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And so, we formed a 501c3 nonprofit. It's called Foundation. And all we do is I just talk to teenagers that are getting ready to age out and young adults that have already aged out. Yeah. And I say, look, whatever your goals are, if you want to live in a car, I'll tell you how to live in a car. Like, it's easy. You can do it. If you want to buy a house, I'll help you buy a house. I can tell you that too. And everything in between. Whatever your journey is going to be, I can help you navigate that, budget your finances, and sort your life out. So, so we do a lot there. Just because it is hard when you get out and you were not reunited with your family, right? And the government's done with you, and you're on your own. And if you don't have the church community and you don't have a band, I can't imagine what you are hanging on to get by. Yeah, that's got to be. And I thought my story was hard. Then I realized not everyone is coming out of youth group, and not everyone's in a band, releasing an album next month. Yeah. So, gosh, it's got to be way harder. Yeah. And if I ended up in a car, where are they going to end up? Yeah. Well, and not that the system does well for little kids, but I feel like probably the little kids
the cute, adorable ones are the ones that are, you know what I mean? Like,
that is
people
true.
are a little more sympathetic to
It
it.
was-
Like, oh, let's take care of these babies. But what about a
Yeah.
17-year-old who's like,
Right.
still, you know?
It's really hard to place a teenager.
Yeah.
Because I went in as a teenager and they had a really hard time finding a house for me because everybody wants a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old. And so even at one point there was nowhere to place me, and I ended up with a boys' home full of ex-cons coming out of juvenile hall. Right?
Did you guys do song breaks like when you were mopping the floors?
It seemed like that. No, we would mop the floors.
Yeah.
I hate the smell of pine sol to this day
gosh,
because you had to mop the mess hall.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, there were the Bloods were over here, the Crips were over here. We're just trying to like read a book and stay out of the way, and it was like that. And they transfer in the wrong kid from the wrong gang, and now you gotta hide the forks because they're gonna kill each other.
Jeez, man.
And I was like, get me out of here! But it's hard to place me. I was a teenager. So anyway, so that was the whole thing.
So when you started this foundation, it was specifically focusing on like these kids in this transitional period of like aging out of the system and what's next.
Correct. So we just take everyone's story and what's your individual story? Where'd you come from? Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
And let's make a life plan for you. And we just do our best.
That's great, man. I love your focus on like, what do you want to do? Like whatever you want to do. If you want to work at McDonald's and like,
Absolutely. Put me down as a reference.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think that's such a good perspective of like in life, you can do, I really do believe for the most part, some people are in tragic circumstances and they, you know, really limited options. But
Sure.
I feel like for most of us, like the people that are doing the thing you dream about, the only difference between you and them is they want to do it. Like
Right.
they like
It's just drive.
even this ridiculous business of entertainment. Like, I mean, Seinfeld said it years ago. Like you don't know the people who. Oh no, it wasn't Seinfeld. It was.
We can still give him credit.
Yeah, still he did okay for himself. Steve Martin says like
even better.
The people who are in this business who are succeeding are the ones who want it more than anyone else. Like,
Yeah.
because like how many people started to be in a band?
Right.
You know, how many people started to do stand-up comedy? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, what do you really want to do? That's really what you want to do? Let's do it.
And entertainment's tough. We live here in Southern California, and how many of our waiters on a daily basis are struggling actors and stuff? You know, everybody's in entertainment in LA.
I mean, I could point to you like 5 people I know, like series regulars on TV shows who are still struggling.
This
like,
is LA. That's how it is.
Yeah. That guy that you thought is doing great, he got his big break. Like, he's going, how am I going to, you know. That girl who was a series regular, she's a waitress now at the restaurant.
Right.
Was,
It's
when
all
she was
over
in
the
college.
place.
Like,
But at least you did something.
yeah.
That's what we're talking about here. Just give it a shot.
That's the thing,
Just
man.
get it off your list.
Yeah. We talked about that. I mean, we were talking the other day, like with your shop or with this special I'm doing, like if we try it and at the end of the day it doesn't take off,
Yeah.
at least we did it.
You tried. If this shop fails,
Yeah.
I have an arcade at my house because I get to take it all home. Right? But that was the idea.
Yeah.
So all the way circling back to that, it was just, I'm going to give this one shot.
Yeah, man.
I have a huge collection at home of action figures and 80s nonsense, and I want to share that with the world. And instead of just talking about it with all my people on Instagram, how much we love action figures and video game and whatever movies and stuff, right?
Well, toys are, I mean, you were telling me this the other day, but like toys to you, they have a different significance than like just, because I think people look at like whatever you're into, whether it's wrestling or toys or magic, and they're like, grow up. Like, why are you still playing with action figures? You know what I mean? But like for you, share a little bit of like why toys have a significance to you. Why?
Well, I'm a nerd, so sure. I mean, any guy who's pushing 40 and is pre-ordering the next release of a certain action figure, we're nerds, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. I accept that about myself. I used to be cool, but
remember when I was in a punk band?
but one of the reasons was just like growing up in the 80s, I had Thundercats and Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters and on Happy Meal toys and all this stuff. And when I got into adulthood, I just wanted a couple of those for my desk, for my office. Yeah. And then pretty soon I had 10,000 toys, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot I even ordered some of these, But there is the story I was telling you was when I went to foster care and my mom was, I don't know, in prison or on the streets. I don't know what she was up to. but everyone had been separated and our house had been boarded up. And somebody was letting me back in the house to get my stuff, and I was 12 or 13, so I wanted my buckets of toys. And when I got into the house, it had already been looted, and so all the toys were gone, and that was hard for a kid. So growing up, so then I grow up, and I'm like, I'm trying to just buy a couple of these back again, just to have them, and I wasn't connecting it on an emotional or spiritual level. But now I have every single Ghostbusters toy, every single the expensive stuff
that was made.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, you couldn't afford the Technodrome. I have a Technodrome.
Yeah, you have like complete collection.
I have it all. It's more than I've ever had, and that's not a hoarding thing or a wasting money thing. I just think it's a God will restore stuff that's lost to you or stolen from you, and these are just material things. They're just painted little toys, right? It's stupid overall, but I think it represents that. I think that is God not only giving me back my toys, but the entire collection, and I'm opening a shop to share this joy with a new generation and other guys our age who also lost their collections due to yard sales and stuff like that. So it's just joy. It's just, someone told me the other day, because I was struggling with, is this false idol worship, like how much I love these little toys? Is this not being a good steward with my money, like how much I'm spending on this crap? And am I messing up other people's lives by them coming in and blowing all their money on these toys and games? But someone came in and he was checking out the shop and praying for us, and he said, God allows us to like things. He gives us interests and hobbies, even though they're not forever. There's probably there's no toys in heaven. Who knows? But at least while we're here,
I'm not going then.
The waves are just wave 1, wave 2 for eternity. Paint variants in heaven. This is a made in China with the blue eyes. Anyway, he said, God lets us like things, and these things are little pieces of art to me. It's people were creative to think of these games, even though you're playing something simple like Galaga. It's just fun. I don't know. So,
well, and I think that
it's a balance.
Whether it's toys or your love of movies or your passion for comedy, there's different things in life that allow us to connect with one another.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people do you meet? Like,
oh my gosh.
Dude, we went to grab coffee today, and the guy's like, without even knowing, he's like, hey, where'd you get that Casey Jones pen?
Right.
And he's like, I love Ninja Turtles. And then like we had this little conversation. It's like,
totally.
I feel like so often it's through those little shared experiences that we really go like, oh, there's more we have in common than
you can
not.
I have friends and family that haven't checked out the shop yet. And then there's other guys on Instagram who are shipping me grand opening gifts.
Isn't that crazy?
Here, hang this in your shop. Here's some toys for your shop.
Yeah.
It's great. Just community and people.
Well, and you have a different mindset too, man. Like it's not, like you said, it's not a selfish thing. Like I walked into your shop, and the first thing I noticed, other than how great it was I was like, why are these toys so cheap? Like you're not selling them for what they go for on eBay.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking a little bit about,
we call it Fee-Bay and Evil Bay,
because people go on there, like you were telling me, like guys will snatch up like collections or
right. Yeah,
when new toys come out.
Currently, I'll give you a specific. Right now, as of this date of this podcast,
we're recording this on
December
9th.
NECA has released a Bebop and Rocksteady set. It's like 50 bones at Target. You can't find it because certain dudes have gone to every Target, or they have a friend that works at Target, and they've snatched them all up, and they've put them on OfferUp and eBay and everything else for $100, $150. You can't get your hands on them.
Because they just have taken all the supply.
It's just a whole market of scalpers and flippers, and I can't stand it. So we want to shut those guys down. So if we can snatch up whatever we can, and we'll put it in the shop for the same price just to get it off the street, or to ship. I've done it myself. I've snatched up a lot just to let all my friends on Instagram know, and I ship it to them. Yeah. So they don't have to search. They don't have to pay scalpers. You just got to pay shipping, and I'll get it into your hands.
Yeah.
And same with vintage figures. It's not even the new releases. Vintage figures, I know what I would pay for these. I know what they're worth. And you go to certain collectible spots, and just because that dude has all the ones in Southern California, his prices are ridiculous. I got something in the shop right now that's $120 if it's mint. I'm selling it for $100. And I know a dude that's got them all for ransom for $350 in his shop. I'm like, $350, dude, come on. And that's what's great about having my day job. I don't have to pay my bills by holding these toys ransom.
Yeah.
I can let it go for what's fair and make you happy, and I get a few bucks to pay the rent on the shop.
Yep.
But I still got my paychecks coming in to pay my mortgage and my truck payment.
Yeah.
So the shop is joy for me, joy for you.
Yeah.
It's a hangout.
Yeah.
I hope it does well and pays for itself. That'd be great. But I don't have to rely on selling one toy for a ton of money and ruin your day, just to pay my bills.
Yeah. And I love to, like, we've gone down so many times since you've opened, but like, I like going down there with the kids, and you've got all these vintage games. You've got Pac-Man and Galaga and Asteroids and Ninja Turtles and Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And, but the way you've set it up is it's like $5 for an hour. Everything's on free play.
Right.
And you get unlimited lives.
That's how you beat turtles.
That's the only way. Like, when I was a kid, I couldn't afford to beat the video games at the arcade, because I would run out, like, my $5 or whatever would be gone in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And so it was super fun because, like, you can go with friends, or like we went with our girls, and I was teaching my kids how to play these video games that, like, I played when I was a kid.
And it's funny, like, I almost need to just get more Pac-Mans, because every high school kid goes to Pac-Man, and they have the hardest time with it for some reason. I'm like, it's the easiest game in the shop, but they have such a hard time and they love it. I need more Pac-Man cabinets. But you're not blowing through quarters. Take your time, enjoy yourself. And like, when you come in with your kids, it hits both markets. You're like, I remember Turtles. I never had enough quarters to beat this. Yeah. And the kids are like, arcade game? What's that?
This? Yeah.
Where's the controller and the headset?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're going to stand here and you're going to use a joystick and some buttons, kid.
Yeah.
It's great. It hits both audiences.
It's so good, man. I'm so glad that you opened it. And I'm so glad that it's like we walked here today. It's walking distance from my house. And
yeah, there's other arcades out there. I mean, it's like when we were in high school going to record stores like downtown Covina.
Right, yeah.
You can't have enough punk stores and record stores. To all the other local arcades and comic shops listening, I hope it's cool that we're in the neighborhood, because you can't have enough arcades and comic shops.
Oh, no.
And there's certain arcades that are too far to drive. There's some that are for college hipsters, and we're right here by this high school. So this is for the high school kids, I know who our demographic is.
Well, and it's good for, I feel like there's a new demographic even growing, of like adults who are realizing it's okay to play. And like more than okay, like it's important to play as an adult. We can get so busy with life and work and all this stuff that we forget that, like, it's healthy for us to have mental breaks during the day. And
what else? So many ways to blow off steam as an adult, but what are you going to drop $100 at the bar? And piss and puke it all out the next day? Yeah. What a waste of money.
Yeah.
Come down to the arcade, at least get a high score and have some fun. Something you'll remember.
Save your name in the machine.
I think your initials in Galaga are better than your bar tab. That's just personal opinion.
That's fantastic, man. Well, yeah, in Upland, you're in a great spot too. Like downtown Upland, we bought this house 3 years ago, and part of it was like, I look at that downtown and I go like, there's potential here. Like,
this is a third, fourth wave for Upland.
It is. And it's one of the last neighborhoods that hasn't been totally gentrified to where it's like, it all looks the same. It's all Cheesecake Factories and Barnes and Nobles, which that's great too. But
Target across the street from Target.
Yeah, man. A Target with a Starbucks in it next to an actual Starbucks.
Correct.
I just, I love that it's like, we've got like Rad Coffee, and we've got, shout out to Lucky's Coffee now that just opened. Also good coffee. And
Polly's you can't have enough coffee.
But just fun, quirky little shops. So if you're listening to this and you're anywhere near Upland, come out, come check it out.
Downtown Upland. If you don't walk in a shop, you can walk the downtown in 5 minutes.
Oh,
but if you take the time, it's so small. If you take the time to visit every shop, I have regular customers, and we've only been open a month, that come in from Riverside.
Yeah.
They drive from Riverside.
Oh, yeah.
Google it if you're curious about these distances. But they go from Riverside to Upland to get Rad Coffee and to get another figure from the shop for his collection. It's a destination place. It's becoming that way.
Yeah. In fact, I did the other day. I took a little walk and I ran through your shop too. But like, I did a little tour on my Instagram story.
Right.
I think I saved it on there if you guys go check it out. But yeah, we're gonna go after this right now. We're gonna go to your shop. This is a rarity that we get to do this. We're gonna go to your shop. We're gonna make a little video so that people who are listening to the podcast right now can actually go and see. So I'll post it on Instagram, and we'll also post it on your Instagram. People can actually see the shop and what it's like, and get the whole vibe and the experience.
Yeah, and it's still like we've been open a few weeks, so I got a lot more games and inventory coming, and already, even though as soon as we opened, I need a bigger shop. Like I leased what I could lease, what I could afford, what was available, and I was like, yeah, this will do. And as soon as I painted it and put the games in there, I was like, I need a bigger shop. Yeah. So it'll be cool to check out the shop, see how it's coming along, and just know that I'm ready to double it already.
That's so rad, man. How can people find you? Give us the info. Right
now, we're only on Instagram. Out of Time 80s Retro Shop. We're just primarily using that. I got to figure out. We're not. I remember when there was no internet. So I'm having a hard time. Like, how do I get on Google? How do you check into my shop? I'm not a simpleton. I work in the tech industry, but I still believe in flyers and CDs, right? Yeah. Everyone's like, no. It's just social media and Spotify. I'm like, what? So I got to figure this out. I got to figure out the advertising and getting on more on online presence. But Instagram, Out of Time 80s Retro Shop, I post about new stuff that's coming in. We have guests in the shop, and we have guests lined up to come in the shop. Yeah, you have
local artists that'll come in and do pop-ups and things like that?
Yeah, we had a local artist who does comic book art, and now you can get a blank comic book cover and draw your own cover. Yeah. He does really, really good stuff. He's on our page. I think it's Red Ink Panda. Anyway, it's on our page. You can check him out. We got a Ghostbusters cosplay team coming. They're going to bring an Ecto-1. You can take pictures with the car. I got a DeLorean guy coming.
Amazing.
Trying to figure out more artists, maybe some 80s tribute bands. It's all coming together, but lots. So anytime we're going to have a guest or just a new product, I'll put it on the page.
That's awesome. And if people want to do like private parties, I know you set up for private parties. If people want to do like bring their team in from work or celebrate their birthday with y'all, play video games with your friends.
Sort that out. We have, I think there's already interest from a bachelor party. One of the barbershops here wants to have an 80s party. There was a youth group talking about it. A 12-year-old's birthday party. They're talking about it. We'll figure out a rate, figure out a price, lock up the shop, and it's all yours. Play the video games, eat pizza, eat candy. Yeah. It's all private arcade for 2 or 3 hours, whatever you want.
That's right.
We'll figure that out.
Friends, go on Instagram, check it out, and I'll put a link here in the show notes, and I'll also put a link to a little video that we're going to make here, so you can go. I'll throw it up on YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. But go check it out, Larry. Thank you for taking the time to do this, man.
Yeah, thanks for thinking of this topic. I think so many people. We want to encourage everyone to just try and just get all your ideas together, get all your dollars together, and just throw it out there before it's too late. You can recover. Yeah. You'll always recover.
Yep.
You can save up again and settle into your career until you retire. But if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, even beyond, just give it one more shot, man. Yeah. One more shot, whatever you're thinking of. And if you don't have any ideas, that's cool too. Just enjoy your life, watch TV, mow your lawn. I envy people that have no ideas. I really do. I really do.
Yeah, I always say it's a curse. It's a glorious curse. Like,
I would love to just get off work and drink a beer and watch Netflix the rest of my life and be like, I'm good. Yeah. Maybe we'll go to the river this weekend. Yeah. I can't. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to open this and open that and create this. And I'm lucky if I do, 5% of my ideas. So, if you have an idea, go for it while you can. Talk to Taylor, talk to me. We'll tell you how we succeeded and failed in all these various areas. We're no experts, but I can tell you what not to do. Right. That's for sure. But yeah, I am envious of the boring guy. That dude's got it made. Right? He's got it made. He's happy. He's content.
People who are like just work like 30 years and they're just like, one day I'm going to retire and do nothing. I'm just like, Why?
I wish my brain. Maybe it's because this is my second coffee today, but
Yeah.
I wish my brain would settle down. I wish I could join you there on the porch.
Yeah. But until then, come join us at the shop and play some video games.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you, dude. All right, let's go do it.
Let's go play.
We'll go do it. Let's play.